Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're building an AI agent with n8n. I'm going to walk you through a complete end-to-end example, our AI meal planning assistant, or the pantry to meal recipe agent. Essentially, it reads your pantry data directly from Google Sheets, then uses AI to suggest a recipe based on what you already have, and it doesn't stop there. If you approve the recipe, it'll email it to you and automatically update your stock list. Plus, we'll be tailoring it with customizable parameters, things like available equipment and your preferred dish styles. It's all built within n8n, powered by a small OpenAI model and using a simple Google spreadsheet. Let's dive right in.
Okay, now we've got the introduction out of the way, let's have a look at how the AI agent actually works. So here you can see the chat window, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it what's for tea today. So what are we having for tea today? And send that off to the AI agent, and it's doing its work. Okay, and we can see here it's come up with a suggestion, so fairly simple, which is along the lines of the sort of recipes I asked for. So juicy burgers and crispy chips with a zesty side salad. You get your ingredients, it tells you what equipment you're going to be using and the settings, and your instructions on how to make it. And it also as well tells you where it's got its inspiration from. The links don't always work, it just depends on whether the web address has changed or not. And then you're asked whether you want to prepare this meal or not by saying either yes or no. If you say no at this point, it will generate another recipe, but if you say yes, which I'm going to do now, it will actually send me an email with the recipe and also a shopping list in case we're running low on any of the items. So I'm just going to say yes there, and after a short delay it should respond back with a message saying okay, I'm sending that now and I'll update the stock. And indeed we have got an email message. Here it is, and you can see that it's beautifully formatted in HTML with a few emojis and some nice colours. That'll vary each time because the AI decides on how it should look. And you can see there you've got your ingredients, suggested sweet, you've got your method, you've got your links, and it also says the recipe constraints. These are all set up in the automation. This is the customization you can set for your own needs. So for example, I've set it up for a household with 2 adults and 0 children. You can obviously change that to your own needs, the personality. I've said humorous and fun in the style of Jamie Oliver. That's entirely up to you. And then at the bottom it's also gone through my spreadsheet, which is where it gets the information from the pantry or larder, and it'll create me a shopping list of things that need restocking as well. Okay, if we just have a quick look at the automation itself. So you can see here that we've got the chat node which comes in, and then we've got the customization, which I'll just double click on that and just show you that. So it sets a few fields. So you've got country, so I've set it to Spain, which is where I'm located. The language, my preferred language is English, and because I live in Spain, some of our ingredients are Spanish, of course, so I've asked for it to present dishes in both British and Spanish flavours. The equipment that we have available, so we have a Ninja dual air fryer, we've got a microwave oven, a gas hob. You can put in whatever you like there, just separate things with commas. And then for your household, the number of adults, number of children, and the portion size, I've set ours to generous. I did find that initially without this customization it was suggesting some ridiculously small portions. So for example in the sweets I think it was saying 3 strawberries per person, which I thought was a little bit mean. Stock assumptions, so these are things that you've generally always got in, so things like butter, olive oil, salt and pepper and so on. just pop that in there. That doesn't need to be in your spreadsheet. And then the weights and measures, without this it was specifying things in grams, and obviously, you know, for quick and ease of use, we don't want to be getting weighing scales out, so I decided that I would tell it that use measurements such as a handful or a cupful and so on. Makes it a little bit easier for the person preparing it. And then for the imagination, I've set conservative on mine. I found without that it was really suggesting some weird and wonderful concoctions, so you may want to set that there. You can set it to imaginative if you like, or try it with different things. And then the personality I think I spoke about before. So that's the custom settings. We've got the recipe agent itself, which is connected to OpenAI. In this case, I'm using the O4 mini model, but you can use whichever model you like. Try it with a few different ones to see what gets you the best results. A simple memory, I've told it to remember the last 15 interactions. Hopefully then it won't keep repeating a recipe. If you tell it no, it will realise that you've already had a recipe that you've rejected. And then we've got the Google Sheets nodes here, one for getting the rows from the sheets. So the Google Sheet itself, if we have a quick look at that, you can see here that I've got my items in the first column there. This is stuff that I've got in my cupboards or freezer at the moment. We've got pack size, portions per pack, packs in stock. The portions left is a calculated field, so this is the packs in stock multiplied by the portions per pack. So that's calculated that. So the AI agent doesn't update this column that I've got highlighted in green. It tends to update the packs in stock, so you can see some of these have ended up as decimal fractions now based on that. Got your supplier, the updated date, you'll be able to see whether the AI has been working or not. And if we have a look down here at that recipe we've just seen, which was for the burgers, you can see 22nd of August, which is when I'm recording this. So we've got burgers has been updated, burger buns has been updated, frozen chips has been updated, anything else? Yes, we've got ice cream tubs because it suggested some ice cream for our sweet, and we've also strawberries and ice cream, that's been updated as well. So you can see that it's done that quite successfully. Go back to the agent itself, and then you've got the update rows there, so it'll use the recipe to find the different ingredients that it's used to update those. And then of course you've got your email node as well, which is fairly straightforward. If we just have a look at the AI agent, so we're just going to that, you can see here that we've got the prompt user message and we've got the system message. The system message is what I've used to more or less tell it about all the customizations. I'll make this available so you can copy and paste it, but it tells it about the language, the personality, the dish nationalities, what equipment you've got available, how many adults are in the household, children, portion size, and so on. And then the prompt itself, this tells it what to do. So this is quite complex. So I tell it about what tools it's got available. So it's got a read rows capability and an update rows capability and an email tool. And usually the first response would be what's for tea today, and then the second response is either going to be a yes or no. So here we've got that yes or no option. If it says no or something similar, it'll give us a new recipe. and then otherwise that will tell it which steps it's going to follow. So I've numbered the steps: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, with its instructions on exactly what it needs to do. It seems to work well. I'm sure that there is a lot of room for improvement, and I'd love to hear what your comments are in the video. So I think that's pretty much it. So in the description for the video I'll include a link to my website where I'll do a little bit of a write-up on this, and I'll include the files which you can download to create your own version of the meal agent. Thanks for watching.